Right, Forest fans, Max Newton here on Talk Forest TV. Hit that like, comment and subscribe button. Here to give you a quick preview of Nottingham Forest home friendly against Valencia on Friday night. It's been a bit of a while since I've been on the channel talking to you guys, but the legend that is Dan has been putting out some quality content over the summer, whilst we've all enjoyed the cricket, the Euros, and currently the Olympics, laughing at the French for like cocking it up, the opening ceremony and the swimming and so on. I'm enjoying American Traitors, which I can hugely recommend. John Burko for the win. And, I think pre-season's looking pretty good. There's a thing that really stuck in my mind from when Steve Cooper got sacked and Nuno was appointed manager is, well, I guess two things. Every single Wolves fan would die for Nuno in the same way that every Forest fan would do, and they absolutely loved him. And secondly, there was a couple of guys on some podcasts that said, yeah, we Nuno took over as manager, and then we had a pre-season game, I think at home to Leicester, and they went, oh my God, the football we're playing in this game is beyond anything we've played under whoever the previous managers were that looked after them. Like, it was slick, it was passy, it was possession based, it was attacking, it was just phenomenal. And we sort of like thought that had happened when we beat Newcastle at St James's Park, which was a sensational result, and maybe after the Man United game at home, but then it didn't really happen. Maybe that's because of like nervousness and the situation that we were in the league, but also because the manager didn't have much time with the players. And I think over the course of the friendlies so far this summer, we've seen a just slick Forest team. And I think some of the football that has been played has been filth. It's been amazing. And Millwall reacted as Millwall do, but they were being like severely outclassed by some incredible football that was being played. Yes, pre-season friendly. Don't hold too much by pre-season friendlies. A lot of professionals and commentators will say hold nothing for pre-season friendlies, but it's probably the best pre-season performances that we've seen for a long time. And yeah, I'm really confident, and I'm really confident because of that, because of the fact that we won't be starting with Matt Turner or the Greek guy in goal. At worst, we'll be starting with Matt Sells in goal, and that's worth like 4 or 5 points from the first half of last season. But actually, we might be starting with an England goalkeeper in goal, or we might be starting with a 6'8" goalkeeper and a 6'5" centre half, because we've gone, oh my God, we're shocking at corners and set pieces. Let's get the biggest goalkeeper the Premier League's ever seen and the biggest bastard Serbian the league's ever seen. And right, that's that solved. We won't be getting cheated by VAR as much as last season. It can't happen. That's another minimum 4 points. And we're not going to get docked 4 points. So, all that, I'm adding on 20 points to last season's target total. And I'm talking about us finishing in a European position, at worst 11th or 12th. And I think the team camaraderie and everything that's been built up over this pre-season, like it's evident and obvious, and that carries us a long way. So as to the game on Friday, it's a prestige friendly, and it's a bit pricey, but if you've got a season ticket, that's benefit of season tickets, right? And that's the way it goes. And I think we will start to see what team is in Nuno's mind over this game and the Olympiacos game. We'll see fewer changes. We'll see fewer fringe players like Hwang getting games and Bowler getting games. Players that are Worrell, unfortunately, so players that I'd expect to be moved on, and we'll start to see probably like the 15 or 16 players in these two games that will be in the first team squad. It looks like Zach Abbott might be in there, which I think is really, really good to see. And I think there's a real competition for midfield between Danilo, Ryan Yates, Sangare seems to have played himself back in, and I've been one of the biggest critics of Sangare last season, and I think if we hadn't spent £35 million on him, if he'd been a loan player or we spent less, we'd have kicked him to the curb as soon as the season finished. But we made that investment, and he was atrocious last season. Make no mistake about it. And people trying to claim that it wasn't by stats and nonsense, and trying to tell you that what you saw with your own eyes wasn't happening. And it's only friendlies, but he seems to have done quite well in friendlies. And yeah, a few mitigating circumstances, but everybody has mitigating circumstances. But I would be as happy as anyone to see Sangare come to the fore this season and play a significant role in the team and be the sort of player that we thought he was going to be when we spent £35 million on him. And although he's played well in pre-season, he's got a long way to go to prove that still. But that's and Anderson as well. That's a midfield 5 or 6 competing for a couple of places probably. I'm expecting Alanga and Callum Hudson-Odoi and Morgan Gibbs-White to be starters, and Tyrell or Chris Wood. I think probably Chris Wood owns the shirt, and then at the back you're going the big Serbian alongside Danilo, Nico Williams, and Oleana, and probably starting with Matt Sells in goal. But there's good competition for places in the right places, and the club are this chat about wingers from Portugal and wingers and attackers from Brazilian leagues, as well as obviously Aaron Ramsdale and some of those, which just feels like just strengthening really sensibly in the right positions, which is brilliant. It feels a lot more controlled, a lot more reasonable, a lot more sensible. Although I still maintain that the club absolutely had to make a ton of signings when we got promoted, and inevitably some of those will work and some of those won't. So it's a good game. It should be an exciting game. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, which I think would be a really good result for Forest. And finally, I just want to say, there's some people posting some absolute ramble out there on social media, and none more so from a Forest perspective at the moment than official Forest TV. They're not official anything, and they're just posting clickbait crap. Ryan Yates signs a new contract, and there's some snarky comments about great, a lot to pay for somebody sat on the bench, and then today put something out having a go at calling Steve Cooper a fraud, which is just rubbish. We don't need those people in our club. So unfollow official Forest TV, follow Talk